Welcome back to Malarkey and Miracles. Today we're going to be talking about why women don't belong in the workforce.
I'm sorry, what?
Alright, so we truly do not believe that. However, in this context, it'll lead into the story and flow with the story about how important it is to understand cultural differences and how you being put into a position affects the environment and how to navigate that. Recently we've been talking about how you're setting up your network in a Muslim country, right? So in this story you're going to meet with a businessman, so let's talk first about how that got set up and why that was so important and how you got involved in going to meet this guy, or how you knew he was someone you should have met with.
Yeah, sure. So, Bosnia was previously, kind of under the Soviet Union. The whole Yugoslavia was really communist, and so they were privatizing. They were taking everything that used to be owned by the government, and they were, giving it to private businesses. They were transferring it back to the people, so that the people could run the businesses rather than the government owning everything. And so to kind of keep tabs on the privatization process, I needed to have somebody who could speak intelligently to it. And there was probably the most successful, one of the most successful business tycoons in former Yugoslavia. Was probably the right person to talk to, so I was able to get a meeting set up with him. And now I was, at this stage, still naive to the ways of the world. And controversially, I'm going to say that anyone who has not been outside of the U.S., aside from touristy areas, anyone who has not been outside the U.S. is naive about the ways of the world. And I think most people who have not been outside the U.S. think that because they have access to the internet, that somehow they understand the ways of the world.
Right.
I disagree, and I think anyone who's actually been outside of the U.S., again, not in touristy areas, would agree with me that anyone who has not been outside the U.S., is somewhat naive to the ways of the world. As was I, right? I truly was. And so I show up, and I'm working in this Allied Military Intelligence Battalion,
Right.
Which you and I have talked about a little bit before. And it's a great unit, but it's not heavily American.
Right. So how long were you there at the point in this story, and where were you at in becoming, I guess, breaking that disillusion?
I think I was about 2 to 3 months in country. And so
you're starting to get your feet under you, your eyes are starting to open up a little bit, or
just barely, and not as fast as maybe they should have.
Okay. Because you're still young, what, 22, 23?
Well, yeah, you spend 22 years in America, and that is your world, especially then, right? I mean,
right.
We didn't even have Google. I didn't even have that. So I spent 22 years learning U.S. culture, right? And then I had been in Bosnia for like 2 months to change or something. And so I was still kind of dealing with a lot of culture shock. Like, whoa, that's how they are here? That's how they do things here?
Yeah.
And it's funny because at that time I didn't realize it was the ways of the world. I just thought, wow, that Bosnia is kind of backwards, right? It was later on that I realized, oh, no, that's how it is in like Arab cultures, and that's how this is in Asian cultures, and the Arabs and Asians make up most of the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Like America is the outlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So in those other cultures, women are not equal to men. They're not treated that way. And in America, not only are they equal, but we give them preference. For instance, when you go to a show, and they start the show, what do people say? Ladies and gentlemen. They say ladies first, right? Ladies ladies first is actually something that we say in America, right? Is that an American saying? Ladies first,
Yeah.
right? The opposite is true in Asian cultures, right? Who holds the door open? Women hold the door open for men in Asian cultures, right? That's so backwards to me.
Yeah, I would be shocked to see that.
Right? In Asian cultures, instead of saying ladies and gentlemen, they say gentlemen and ladies, right? And so understanding, wow, like equality and just treating everybody like as equals, like that is such a foreign idea to the rest of the world.
Right.
And I did not understand that. So here we are, I'm going to meet with this business tycoon, not understanding his culture very well. And seemingly everyone who's not American kind of understands that men do business in this country, not females. Which hadn't been an issue until this meeting. We got a new young female lieutenant in, right? Officer. Officers work in offices. Offices don't work on the production floor, right? They don't produce things.
Right.
They oversee. Well, she got right on to what we were doing, which is really cool, right? She saw that I was going out and I was meeting with people and I was gathering information and we were doing a lot of good reporting, and she wanted to be a part of that, which I applaud her for. Like,
Right.
great. She wants to get her hands dirty.
First-hand experience
Right?
and see
She
what
wants
she's
to be a part of it.
managing. Yeah.
And so she asked her superior, hey, I'd like to go on a meeting with John. Can I go on a meeting? And he talked with the other heads in our unit, which again, they're not American, right? You got Spaniards, right? The Spanish are there, Germans are there, the United Kingdom is there, Canadians.
So a simple question of can I go on this meeting turns into a multi-jurisdictional, international roundtable
It
discussion.
becomes an international discussion, and everybody at the table, save the Americans, is saying she can't go on this meeting, not in this culture. Like, women don't go to business meetings in this culture, right? And these are all men, by the way, at this table. It's military, right? So you don't have a lot of women in these meetings.
Right.
So these are all men trying to decide, hey, what's the right thing to do? And everyone other than the American Marine major is like, no, like this is a hard no. Well, the Marine major is like, hey, look, let's ask John. It's his meeting. It's his guy. Let's see what he says. Is everybody okay with that? And everybody agreed, okay. If John's cool with it, we're cool.
But at this point, you're pretty much lowest on the totem pole.
Lowest. Yes.
And they're coming to you to say,
These
hey.
are all officers, right?
Yeah.
I'm a young, I don't even think I was a sergeant at this point, like E4 specialist.
So was that a respect in their mind, giving you the ball, saying, hey, this is your decision, you're running with it? Or do you think that was a liability? Like, hey, we're not making the decision, it's on you.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird in this environment because the rank structures are so messed up, right? Because you've got all these different countries who have all these different rank structures, right? And then the guy that I'm working for, he's a major, but he's a Marine major. So whereas in the Army, I'm an E4 specialist, which is like an automatic promotion. Well, my position in the Marines is like Lance Corporal, like a very respected position, right?
Okay.
So rank over there really didn't mean as much because everybody was kind of confused by ranks.
Sure.
But yeah, like I was the native English speaker, which all of our reporting had to be in English, right? And I was kind of the lead agent at this point. For as far as the field operator goes. And so they deferred to me. So the major came to me, and I had not known about any of this, by the way.
Okay.
Came to me and said, hey, we got a new lieutenant. She wants to go on and meet with you. And of course, my first question is like, why does an officer want to go on and meet?
Right.
Like, that would be like, the president of a cigarette company going down to the production floor going, hey, I want to roll cigarettes, right? Like, it's not.
That's just not
What are you
something that
talking
happens.
about?
Right.
So, anyways, I was kind of thrown off by that. And then he explained, look, it's a young mature female. She just wants the experience. She wants to go. She's never done anything like this before. She just wants to see how it's done. And I said, it's fine with me as long as she understands she's a fly on the wall. Like she's not to talk. She's not to say anything. She's not to interrupt a meeting. Right? She goes. She sits. She observes. Like if that's what she wants to do. Absolutely fine. But she's not trained. Right? She is not a field operator. Okay? She just needs to go and sit. And he said, I'm really glad that you answered it that way because I had no idea how I was going to tell an American female that she couldn't go on a meeting because she was a woman. Right? And I get that, right? Like,
Yeah.
How do you have that? How do you go, hey, look, like I know in America you're allowed in meetings, but we're not in America. And because you're a female, you're not allowed in a meeting, right? Like
Right.
that would be a hard conversation to have. And he could end up with an EO violation against him. So, whatever, we took her along.
So this sounds like, just quick discussions to consider, but this took the majority of the day or the morning, or was it just quick?
I think it was actually the day before that he came up to me. I was going out on another meet, and he came out to me as I was getting ready to leave for the other meet and brought this up. And we were talking about like the next day.
So it was just moving parts.
Yeah, so I think it was probably like a 10-minute conversation or something. Right. And so then, next day everything's fine. And she came with me. We drove out, not a problem. We went to this guy's business office. And this guy rolled deep. So like we went to this town. It was near Srebrenica. Zvornik. That's what it was called. Zvornik was the name of the town. And there's a fair amount of small businesses in this town. Right? Like they are loving the privatization. They're building businesses, right? They got pizza shops, whatever. It's actually kind of a cool little town. And then there's this like huge skyscraper building, and this dude's office is like up on the penthouse, right?
Yeah.
So we get in the elevator, we go up, the elevator opens, and his secretary is there as we step off the elevator. And his secretary says, "Oh, there's 3 of you. Is this your secretary?" And he said, No, this is an officer. She came along just to observe. And the secretary was like, "Oh, okay." So then secretary kind of ushered us into the office with the guy that we were meeting. Left, came back with Turkish coffees for me, my Greek counterpart who was there, and for the business tycoon that we're meeting with. We start kind of drinking our coffee and starting off normal with just kind of chit chat, small talk.
Pleasantries.
Right. In the U.S., when we do business meetings, we want to get business out of the way first, and then we talk. Right. Then we'll bull crap about whatever. Small talk happens less, right? So it's like, get the business out of the way. Not in that culture. In that culture, you do small talk for a great amount of time.
Well, and
then you talk business.
Yes. But then that's important for you to build that rapport and build that relationship in terms of working and having them trust you and trade information or network and build that.
You got to build trust, right? Because and again, in most of the world, you do business with your friends. Okay. Now, in the U.S., I think we kind of shy away from doing business with family and friends because we don't want to take advantage of them. They don't want to take advantage of us, right? And it can cause strife, so we kind of avoid that. We would rather just, hey, who's going to give me quality work at the best price?
Right.
That's kind of how we do business. Not them. They will do business with family and friends. And that's it, right? So the rapport building is very important, right? If you don't have a relationship, they're not going to do business. So During this part of the meeting, my fly on the wall officer is a very bad fly on the wall, and she gets offended that she did not get coffee. She did not get a Turkish coffee. And so she was like bumping the Greek guy, because like I was sitting across from this guy I'm talking to. The Greek guy was kind of over here. She was over here somewhere. So she's like bumping him, like interrupting. And so finally he speaks up and he goes, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm terribly sorry, but can we get her a coffee?" And the guy that we're talking to, he's embarrassed, obviously embarrassed, because he did not understand the etiquette, and so he felt very embarrassed that he did not get her a cup of coffee. And so he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I didn't know." And so he calls the secretary in. "Hey, can we get her a coffee?" And secretary says, "Oh yeah, sure. So the secretary goes off and comes back and brings her coffee. And I think we're done, right? Like, okay, that was weird. That was a bump in the meeting.
Right.
We're gonna smooth this out. It's gonna be okay."
Does she realize at that point that she didn't get a coffee because she was female, or did she feel like she was just missed, or what are your thoughts there from being there?
I think that she was aware by just the way that they assumed she was the secretary when we got there.
Okay.
Where her seat was, right? And then that they didn't give her coffee. It was very aware that she was not being treated equally.
Right.
And very obvious that it was because of her gender.
So she got offended at that instead of thinking to put it into the greater context of the environment.
I think she was somewhat offended. For the way that we're raised in America, I'm actually kind of surprised that she handled it as well as she did.
Yeah.
She showed actually a lot of restraint and maturity.
Yeah.
For that situation. But yeah, it was kind of uncomfortable. But I figured, you know what? We're gonna roll with this, and we're gonna just smooth this out, and it's gonna be okay, right?
She got her coffee now. We're rocking on.
She's got her coffee. The guy in front of me, the red has gone out of his face. He's not blushing anymore. He seems to be like, we're rolling on, right? We're rolling on. So we're talking about the privatization process and the mines and everything's going on. And then coffee spills from her cup like all over the desk, all over this guy's desk. Right? Just everywhere. And he stands up quickly because, the coffee's falling in his lap on the desk. He stands up quickly and he goes like this. He goes, "This is why we don't bring women in business meetings."
Wow.
I was mortified.
I can imagine.
I looked over at her. Now her face is red, right? Obviously she's embarrassed because she has, spilled coffee on this guy's really nice desk. Right.
And was this something where y'all were trading papers back and forth?
It's old days, right? So we're keeping notes on like legal tablets and stuff, right? And so coffee all over everything. And I think she was started getting red because she was embarrassed, and then after she said that, she turned like purple, like even more red, because she was so furious at that comment, I think. And we cleaned everything up. We went ahead. We continued the meeting. I got the issues that I needed to figure it out with where they were in their process, in their privatization process, what the hiccups were, where they needed more assistance. So it was
still a productive meeting.
It was a productive meeting. It was successful,
yeah.
Right? Unfortunately, I did not ever get another meeting. But we left there, and on the way back, she had said, "Hey, don't worry, I'm never going to come on another meeting with you again."
Wow.
So it was sad that no one could kind of pull her to the side and say, "Hey, look, because you're a woman, you can't go to this meeting." Like you can't tell an American that.
Right.
Like that's just not the way we're raised.
It was a good learning experience for all of you.
But sadly, she had to learn it like by being face to face with that backwards kind of thinking,
Right.
and she had to experience that for herself. Good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, that's just kind of the way that it was. Her and I, we got along, right? Like she didn't blame me or anything for that guy's bigotry or whatever. But we say bigotry, right? But at what point do we say our culture is better than theirs, right? Because it's one thing to go, "Hey, their culture's wrong, our culture's right."
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I think so. I think that it's wrong to treat people with inequality because they're female or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely wrong. But when you're in that environment, you kind of have to set aside some of your beliefs so that you can get business done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a hard lesson. But it also, that was another time, probably the second time, where it just really came crashing down on me, like how great America is. I mean, this is a very special country, very special nation, where people are treated, for the most part, the way they should be treated.
And I think that goes back to the beginning on two separate terms, where people that haven't traveled outside either agree with that, but they haven't experienced anything outside to compare it to, or they disagree and it's the same thing. They haven't been outside to be exposed to that.
Right.
Whereas you can look at it and say, "Hey, here's a specific situation where I could say this is why I believe this."
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then even in the future, if you were ever put in that situation again where you had to tell someone no, it's not just, "Hey, that's not how it works." You can say, no, tried that, didn't work.
Yeah, so thankfully, with experience comes stories. And I can't say, "Hey, based on my experience, women shouldn't go and do meetings in Bosnia." No, that's not going to fly, right?
Right.
If I go, "Hey, let me tell you this story," and then you decide whether or not you want to go to the meeting.
Right.
Right? I think that goes a lot better. Like, I'm not going to tell you no.
Right.
I'm just going to let you know what you're going to be going up against, right?
So to bring this full circle, it's not that women don't belong in the workplace.
No, they absolutely do. I mean, I think it's one of the things that makes America as great as it is. Like, that's why we're, doing so much better than all these other nations. Right? Because we limit our hatred, we limit our bigotry, we use everybody's strengths, and we've built an amazing nation.
Right. But given a mission in a specific culture or environment, you should be culturally sensitive to build that rapport.
Yes, right? Because we don't know how much information I missed because I wasn't invited back.
I don't even think about that aspect. Yeah.
We don't know. Was that a successful meet? It was. I got the information that we wanted. But how much information was missed? How much could that guy have told me that we never got? It's a rough world, man.
I guess we'll never know.
We will never know.
But now we know that story.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the next one.